Please, your position, I want to follow up on this, because your position appears to boil all of these resolutions down to essentially politics. And I want to ask you, when you look at what's going on in the country and you see some of the killings from Benue to Zamfara to Adamawa and other places, is it fair to boil down these very, very serious and grave issues to politics?
Well, that's a good question. Now, that's what I said at the beginning. Why now? Why this resolution now? I mean, did the killing started today? The killings has been ongoing. And when they said giving marching orders to the security agencies, coincidentally, at that material time, when they were holding that joint session meeting, at that particular time, the executive were also holding another meeting with the chiefs of securities on the same security issues in the country. And there is, you know, they will have come up with something like that when they perceive, or when there is no any action on the part of the executive towards handling the security issues. But everybody in Nigeria knew that there has been action on the part of the executive, and not only that. In the two houses, there are committees on security who, I believe, liaises with their counterpart from the executive part. What are their own reports from those two committees? And that's one thing I want us to really consider here.
Honorable Atuma, what is your response?
All right, let me respond to that. Firstly, I'm afraid he doesn't quite understand how the parliamentary system works. Now, the Inspector General of Police was invited. So were the other service chiefs. They honored the invitations. The Inspector General of Police refused to honor the invitations. Now, you can't hide what happens on the floor of the House. We have resolutions. We have recordings, votes, and proceedings. Nobody changed the recordings of the votes and proceedings. The Inspector General of Police was asked to come and discuss and find a way to resolve some of these killings going on in this country. He refused. That's one. Secondly, he's asking why now? Is there a bad time to ask the security agencies to secure the lives and properties of Nigerians? This year alone, hundreds and hundreds of people have been killed. New Year's Day, January 1st, 2018, 73 people were killed in Logo and Guma local government area in Benue State. On the same day, January the 1st of 2018, in Kiana, Nasarawa State, 25 people were killed. In Kaduna, 22 people were killed. In Jigawa, 22 people were killed. So hundreds, and it continues unabated till today. Even yesterday, you'll find people were killed. So the importance of what we did cannot be underestimated, nor can it be ignored or boiled down to politics. I'm afraid in this country, we need to begin to take these matters seriously. The Parliament is there for a very good reason. Parliament is there to take care of those concerns of the people. Nothing to do with anything personal. Absolutely balderdash if anyone suggests that.
Honorable Atuma, as much as you know, it may be a difficult case to make that this is purely political, given the grave conditions in the country. Some people would certainly question the timing. Because, and the reason why I say so is this. You are a former Commissioner of Information in Kwara State, I believe under the governorship then of the Senate President, Bukola Saraki.
I served various ministries, yes.
That's right. So you're very familiar with Kwara State politics, as it were.
Of course I do.
Now, on the basis of that, let me ask you, when you look at what has happened with the police investigation into the circumstances surrounding the OFA robbery, and you look at the initial invitation sent out to the Senate President, then, of course, changed to a 48-hour limit to respond, the timing of this joint executive session with these resolutions, is it a coincidence that all of this is happening all at the same time?
Well, the Inspector General of Police was invited initially to address the issues of killings. He refused to do so. Now, having refused to do so, he got the and decided he's going to take a pound of flesh. That's all it was. So the entire events that unfolded thereafter, to me, is farcical, disgraceful, despicable, and reprehensible conduct on the part of the Inspector General of Police. Now, this is a democracy. If a Senate, if the Parliament asks you to come and give a briefing on killings going on in this country, you damn well answer that summons, and you answer it in time.
Honorable, I would like you to answer my question directly, please. Was it a coincidence that this investigation, this recent interaction between the police and the Senate President is happening at the same time this joint session took place?
There is no coincidence. We do our work when we're supposed to do our work. whether the timing is right in your eyes or anybody's eyes, we do our work. And part of our mandate is to ensure that we do that which is right by the people by seeking to effect a governance that will protect the lives and properties of people. So timing is not what we concern ourselves with. It's like asking a judge, don't deliver this judgment today because of the timing, because of something extraneous to the court. Anything happening elsewhere is extraneous to Parliament. Parliament will move when it's proper, fit and proper for it to move, and that's what we did.
Barrister, is it not dangerous? Is it not dangerous to take every, maybe a resolution of the National Assembly in this case, or criticism of the way the Buhari administration has tackled certain issues as mere political criticism or smear when these issues are raging in the country? Is that not what is happening now from your vantage point?
Yeah, let me say, you see, that's what a lot of people are actually the way they see it, because if you're looking about the executive-legislative relationship, I mean, we all want that as a country. What do we want as a country? We want a better and a harmonious relationship between the executive and the legislative branch. And this President Muhammad Buhari, has demonstrated over and over again that willingness to work with the legislative branch. I mean, he doesn't interfere with the functions of that particular arm, and he can bear that as testimony. From the inception of this particular assembly, he refused to get involved in their politics, in choosing their leadership, even though his party, a lot of people from his party wanted him to do that, but he said, no, let the members, let the legislators choose their leaders, and they did so. That's to show you this is a man who respects rule of law and the independency of these arms of government. Now, but what we are saying as people, we want to see an institution that actually think Nigerian and act Nigerian.
And that's precisely what we've done.
What do I mean by
Honorable,
that?
please.
Yeah, what do I mean by that? We mean, if you come up with a resolution, ensure that it is for the common good of the country. Now, if we are to attack each point in that resolution, you will see that those ones that actually make meaning for the public, you will find out the executive are actually working on those things. The areas that you find out that the legislators actually wanted to have as a resolution, I think it's more of, in fact, your first question, you know, the idea of a threat, a kind of blackmail, or even a threat, because he tried to hide the functions of the legislative of many, but what we know, when you say the president, if he fails to act, will evoke our constitutional powers. It means Section 143. And let me come here.
Go ahead.
And you can't invoke Section 143 just because your leadership, or one of you, or few of you, are actually answering questions from law enforcement agencies when some fingers are pointed at them. You cannot use that. That will amount to abuse of office, and it will amount, the very rule of law they were talking about as part of their resolution, it will amount to truncating the rule of law.
Barrister
the law enforcement agencies must be allowed